it's Di here from Di's Den, and this week I would like to show you how I made this card. Now this is not a new concept, I've seen this done so many times before, but I just wanted to show you my way of doing it. So it's got a belly band on it to hold it up, and it opens up and it will sit up like this. Is a nice card, and you have your inside, and you can fold this either left to right or right to left, whichever way you like. I'm going to be using all retired products on this because I want to use up some of my papers, and this paper just goes so well with the cinnamon cider here. So I'm going to be using cinnamon cider. I'm going to make another card exactly the same as this and pop this belly band back on. Well, I will if I can. I'm not having much luck. There we go. So I will show you. I'm going to be using this set, and again this is retired, and it's Beautiful World. So we're going to stamp the world that's for me with the Australia in it, the stand, and the words. Thank you for being part of mine. I think that is. There. Thank you for being part of mine. Because on the front we're called you make the world a better place. Thank you for being part of mine. Now I've already done the stamping for this piece because I've already cut those out, and I'm going to be using cinnamon cider ink, which is now retired. It retired at the end of the last catalogue. So for the circles here I used the 4th size of my layering circle, so 1, 2, 3, 4th size in the plain to do the outside, which is this bit, and then the 4th size, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 for the scallop piece, which I've done there as well, because otherwise I've only got to get up and leave you sitting with nothing happening while I go and cut them out on my Big Shot, because I don't lift my Big Shot into the picture because it's way too heavy. So let me put that out of the way, and we'll show you what you need. So as I say, you're going to need a bit of scraps to do that. As you can see, I did the other ones as well out of those scraps, so they can go in the bin out of the way. Alright, so for our main card we need a main card piece, and this piece is 11 1/8 by 5 7/8, so it's 11 1/8 long, so you just chop that little bit off the end, by 5 7/8, sorry. For my front layers I will need 2, and I'm using Very Vanilla for this one. It's got a bit of a lump in it, but never mind, it's not going to be seen because it's going to be behind things. I didn't even notice that when I was cutting it out. So you'll need 2 of these that measure 3 1/4 by 5 5/8, and 2 pieces of designer series paper. And once again, I'm using the last of this paper that I've got here, and this measures 3 inches by 3 5/8. Just remember, if it's got a direction like I have, that you need the direction in the portrait style, not like landscape. For my insert, now I'm only putting 1 insert in, but if on the tutorial, the written tutorial will have the measurements for 2 inserts, like like your layers. But in this case I'm not doing it, and I don't have my other card here to show you with the 2 in it. So this piece is 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, and if you were putting the other layer on the top, it would be 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. But the measurements will be on the tutorial, which I've half written here. So when it goes live, that will go live at the same time as the YouTube video. So okay, so then we need a belly band that measures 1 inch by 9 1/2 inches, and then, as I say, the scraps to do your decorating for your belly band. Okay, so let's pop them out of the way. Let me just glue these 2 pieces together. Oh gosh, the lid's quite hard on this one. This way this can spend a little time drying while we do all the rest of the, so because it's a bit chilly today, so, and wet, and wild and woolly outside. It is winter after all. So okay, so I've popped them two together like that. Let's pop that out of the way, and let's start with our main piece of card. So we're going to score this on the long side with our stylus, and making sure once again that we use the smaller ball because we are using cardstock. And we're going to score this at 3.5 and 7 5/8. So you can either go 3.5 and turn it all the way around and score it at 3.5 again, or you can do it at 3.5 and 7 5/8. Okay, so that's all our scoring done. So let me pop my board out of the way. And what we're going to do is we're just going to bring in our pencil and we're just going to put here a T. So we know that this is the top of this. Now I'm not going to rub that out because we won't need to, because it won't be seen. And what we're going to do now is we're going to bring in our ruler and we're going to mark down 1 inch from the top on both sides. The same side, the same bit, the top. And then we're going to mark in from the bottom 1 inch, and we're going to mark in from the bottom on this side 1 inch. Oops, let's move my pieces out of the way so I can do that properly. Okay, so we've just marked those like that, and we will bring in our trimmer now, and we're going to trim that off. So what we're going to do first is we're going to trim from this score line down to that first 1 inch mark on the side. So we're going to bring that in so that this score line is in the right on the track line, and our 1 inch down mark is on there, and we're going to chop that off like so. And we're going to do that the same on the other side. So we're going to, from that score line, we're going to pop that there, and we're going to bring that on an angle, the correct angle, and we're going to cut that piece off just there like that. Now for me, I think I didn't quite get to that corner on that side, so let's pop that in there and just cut that again. That's better. Sounds silly, but just that little bit makes a big difference. Oops. Now if you're like me and you've got a frayed edge, you can use a, I'll go and get it because I can't think what it's called. That's if I can find it. So what I use is a nail file, an emery board, and that will just take that edge off, that fluffy edge right off there like so. Okay, so we've done that with everything, and I'm sorry I had to go away and do that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut from this corner that we've just cut down to this 1 inch mark just here. So we're going to bring that corner there into the track, and our 1 inch mark here into the track, and we're going to cut that off like so. And we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So we're going to put our mark on the track, and this top bit here right in that corner on the track as well. Oops, that moved. You don't want it to move. And when you're happy with that, we can chop that bit off as well. And as I say, if you've got I shouldn't have had a problem because mine's a brand new blade. But if you've got a bit of a older blade and you're not sure, you can quite easily just give them a bit of a rub over with your memory board. Oh my goodness, I'm having a mental blank. Okay, so that's our main card done. So we're going to pop that on one side for a minute, because what we're going to do next is we're going to do our layers. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move these out of my board out of the way, and we're going to pop these two pieces together, and with a tiny bit of sticky tape, I'm just going to put just the tiniest little bit of sticky tape on one side there. Now I've put it right down one end, sorry, for the simple reason that it's out of the way, and when we cut it will be out of the way. So we are going to do the same again here. We're going to mark this 1 inch in from the top, sorry, from the side. I did that the other day, from the side, and 1 inch in from the bottom. Okay, and with those two pieces together, we can then cut those together. So we're going to do the same with our two pieces of designer series paper, putting the two sides together and making sure that your pattern both runs exactly the same way. I'm going to pop a little bit more sticky tape on the bottom here, because it's out of the way, and I'm going to measure down 1 inch from the top and 1 inch in from the bottom. So we have on our right hand side 1 inch down, on the same side 1 inch in at the bottom, and the same with this one. On the right hand side it's 1 inch down and 1 inch in from the bottom. Once we've done that and we're stuck together, so that this way when we cut them, we're cutting them identical. So we won't cut from that mark up to the top corner, and I'm going to just do that one more time, because once again I didn't do that quite right. It's not going to go, it's so minute. There we go. And then from that mark there down to the bottom mark that you made. Pop that in, and we have our two sides. Now this piece is together, so it's now ready to throw away, and we have our two pieces that are ready to go on the front. We're going to do exactly the same with our two layers. So we're going to mark that in, and from there down to that other mark that we made, and we have our mark. This way, with these pieces, you won't need to worry about the marks on the back, because they won't get seen. These ones you can just use your rubber to eraser just to mark, take them off if you want them out of the way, if they're going to be showing. So we're now ready to pop these two pieces together like so, and they go together really nicely like this. Oops, wrong way. Let's get them around the correct way. And now what we're going to do with this one is we're going to do our folding. So we're going to do our folding over. Now burnish this one as well, fold and burnish that one. That way we can see which one is going to go on which side. One there and one just there like that. So I will glue those together and pop them onto the front of each one. Oh, paper's moving up and down today. Make sure when you're doing that, if you're going to cut them, that you put them together with the two sides that you want to use as your front facing each other. If you do that, they will be cut the correct way. That's why I did it that way, because it's just easier to make sure that your two sides that you of the front DSP layer are the same way. It's crazy when you sit here and you think about it and then you cut it wrong, which I've done plenty of times. You have to find the easiest way, and for me that's the easiest way. Whoops, don't want to drop anything on the floor. Oh my goodness, I've got everything dropping all over the place today. Okay, with that done, we can now get rid of this T in the middle here, because it's going to be on the back of the card. And we only put that there so that we knew that this was the top when we were cutting, so we could see which way we're cutting. Alright, so we're going to do a little bit of stamping on the inside of this card, which is making this a very easy card this week. And I'm going to just stamp the base to the globe down the bottom there. And then my globe, making sure I've got him up the right way. On top, with my words next to it. And that's all our stamping. That's dry. We can pop that onto the inside of our card. Just pop the pin in my glue for a moment. Because of the weather, it's just crazy. Having the heater on. Okay, so we can fold that left over right or right over left, depending on which side you want. It doesn't really matter. We're going to take our belly band now, and we're going to pop our card down and very lightly just bring it around. Don't push it down real hard, because you don't want it to be so tight that it's hard to move off. Otherwise it won't slide up and down. Once you're happy with that, we can then pop a little bit of glue on this end here, or the other one, whichever one you've popped over, and lining that up so that they actually are even top and bottom there. Bring them over and just give them a few seconds to dry. I'll pop the pin in back in there, and you can see that's going to slide. Well, it is going to slide up and down. There we go. It's going to slide up and down. Okay. So then I'm going to bring in my little saying from the front, and I'll pop a couple of dimensions on here. And pop our words on the top like so. And that's our card. Well, what do you think? I love it. Oh gosh. It stands up beautifully. And as I've done this as a male card, it just goes, it can be made for a male, it could be done for female, children, anybody. This is one of those cards that actually can go for anybody. So that's my cards for today. If you would like the written tutorial for that, please head over to Di's Den for stamping, crafting and tutorials. There you will find the written tutorial for this, and it's dated the same date. It goes live the same date as the YouTube video. If you've enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up, leave me a message. I love to hear from people what they think, and I will see you again next week. Bye for now.